I really shouldn't say this very loudly because I don't want word to get out. I've got some urgent news to tell you. Here's what I've got to share. It has been a wild 24 hours weather-wise across Minnesota. In Tracy, there's severe storm damage this morning. As you can see by this map, Tracy is located in the southwestern part of the state between Marshall and Worthington. About 100 residents are homeless this morning after high winds swept through a trailer park. Most of the displaced residents spent the night in the town's National Guard Armory. Seven people were treated for minor injuries and released. I'll go back to okay, all right. I really shouldn't say this very loudly because I don't want word to get out. But I've got some tragic news to tell you. Here's what I found out. The Redwood County Sheriff's Department reports tornado. But that's more tragic. There's a lot to think about here.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't say this very loudly because I don't want word to get out.
In the quiet hours before dawn, Mason City felt like a place suspended in time. Still, peaceful, unaware that its most haunting mystery was about to begin. On June 27, 1995, news anchor Jodi Huisentruit vanished before the sun ever touched the horizon. Her red Mazda sat in the parking lot. Her belongings, scattered in the dirt, looked like they'd been dropped mid-struggle. A shoe, a blow-dryer, a bent car key. Everything pointed to a moment of panic. Yet nobody heard a sound. People said Jodi brought light into every room, but when she disappeared, it felt like the entire town dimmed. Theories spread like whispered warnings. A stalker, a jealous admirer, a co-worker, someone watching her for weeks. But the deeper investigators looked, the more the case pulled them into a maze with no center. Neighbors reported hearing screams hours before dawn. Someone saw a white van idling near her apartment. Someone else claimed Jodi had been receiving strange phone calls. Every clue seemed important, until it didn't. Every lead felt urgent, until it evaporated. It was like chasing shadows that refused to stand still. For decades, her case stayed frozen, trapped in the same darkness that swallowed her. Birthdays passed, anniversaries passed, and the truth stayed buried deeper than ever. But then, a new name crawled out of that darkness. Christopher Revak. A man long whispered about in the background of Jodi's disappearance. A man whose behavior, timeline, and proximity raised quiet suspicion but never crossed the line into charges. For years, he drifted on the edges of the investigation. Never far, never close, always just enough to keep his shadow in the room. And now, after nearly 3 decades, investigators in another state linked Revak to a violent death. The murder of Deidre Harm, a case that went cold for years. Authorities concluded that Revak was responsible for her death, an act defined by brutality, control, and cold precision. Suddenly, patterns once dismissed as coincidence began forming a darker outline. The timelines overlapped. The behaviors echoed each other. The questions around Jodi sharpened, as though a hidden thread had been silently tightening through both cases. Investigators didn't declare Revak guilty in Jodi's disappearance because the evidence still rests in shadows. But for the first time, the silence around her case feels like it's cracking. The ground beneath the story is shifting. Imagine 2 mysteries sitting on opposite ends of a dark room. For years, no one realized the shadows between them touched. But now, a shape is forming in that space. Uncertain, unfinished, but impossible to ignore. Maybe the truth isn't lost. Maybe it's just been waiting for someone to finally turn on the light. Do you think Christopher Revak holds the missing piece to Jodi Huisentruit's story? Or is the real answer still hiding somewhere nobody has looked?
She's not been seen or heard from in 29 years, and no arrests have been made in the case. Mason City Police are working with the Wood County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office. They're focusing on a man named Christopher Revak. Investigators there believe that he is responsible for the 2006 death of another woman. Revak took his own life in a jail cell in 2009 while facing a homicide charge in the death of a third woman in Missouri. The lead investigator in Huisentruit's case says Revak's wife, who he was separated from at the time, was living in Mason City the year Huisentruit disappeared. And he says similarities in the cases of the other two women stick out to him.
There's a possibility that could have happened here in Mason City. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't found her body. A guy like Chris Revak fits that reason, so why not look into him?
We've been following this case for a very long time. Both departments are planning to meet in Wisconsin to compare case files later this month.